Back again. So the subjective mind and subjective life that comes from having a subjective mind, we all have it. The subjective consciousness or the subjective activity is what you're thinking and feeling about life, about others, about yourself. It's an inner flow of ideas and thoughts and feelings that just go on automatically during our waking hours. It's what we think of the world, what we think of ourselves, is what we think and feel about the life we're living. You're happy with it, unhappy with it, anxious about it, angry about it. It's the inner state that you live in and live from. That's your subjective mind, and that's your subjective life. How's your life going? That's why you do the things you do, and why you say what you say. Now, you may be paid by a job to behave in a certain way, and you're being paid to do certain behaviors, that's understood. But at the same time, underneath it all, what are you thinking and feeling about the people you deal with, about the activity you're doing, about your future? We're just all kind of in a stew of thoughts and feelings that can be beautiful and encourage us to live every day cheerfully, gratefully. Or we could be resentful inside all the time, or depressed and think it's meaningless, or think we are worthless. A lot of people think they're worthless. That's a subjective state. It's not objective, analyzing the figures, analyzing the vehicles, analyzing the workplace. That's objective. We're talking about the feelings and the thoughts that we have inside regarding those objects, regarding those people out there. What are we thinking and feeling? We think we have this great cause. Well, that could make us president, or it could make us a resident of a penitentiary, depending on what we're doing in there. So it's such an important point. So here are some models just to clarify this subtle point about subjective life. Just look within and just say, do I have an attitude of superiority? Do I think and feel inside I'm superior? Inferiority. They're better than me. Do we think we should just spend the day criticizing and judging and maybe condemning? Is that what we do with our thoughts and feelings in there? Or are we jealous all day long? Are we unloved and unlovable? Or are we beloved? Are we intelligent or stupid in our interactivity? Are we a sinner or a devotee? Do we feel we're a son and daughter of God, or do we feel alienated? Worthy, unworthy. All of these are parts of our subjective activity that makes us or breaks us, actually. Very often, people who've had traumatic lives, they've just got all this spinning and, what should we say, hurricanes, tornadoes going on inside. When you live a soul-centered life, you have a chance to step from a subjective life to a spiritually aware life and see things spiritually in terms of their essence. It's a different experience of life. But for now, let's just focus on, well, okay, you're a yogi, you meditate. What is your mental emotional content? We call that your pratyaya. Just When you're busy, pause for 15 minutes and notice what you've got going inside, what your thoughts and feelings are. And then during calmness, pause for 15 minutes also and notice what activities you've got going in there. Yogis really examine the mind. When they're trying to meditate, they wonder what's in the way. And they deal with, very often, subjective issues. I'm just mad, or I'm just blue. I've been blue for a month, whatever. So we're going to now try to tackle this problem and improve our subjective life, the life we have because of the quality of our consciousness. And I was enjoying the writing of Ken Keyes. We can make much progress, he maintains, by doing a yoga thing. He calls it releasing addictive demands. And it's quite interesting how he goes about this. Releasing addictive demands. These relate directly to anger, fear, guilt, grief, arrogance, prejudice, which yogis call the fetters that chain the heart down and keep us from loving and being happy. But here's what he says addictive demands are, and this could improve anybody's subjective life right away. Addictive demands are emotional states. We enter into these when we don't get what we want or expect. We react when it's not the way we wanted it or expected it. There's an automatic emotional reaction. And that's an addictive demand. These states eliminate happiness and love. They dominate our awareness, our subjective life, for days or years, sometimes for the whole life. You've heard of families that have a feud and keep shooting one another generation after generation. Subjective state of hate the Hatfields or the McCoys, Addictive demands are emotional states we enter into when we don't get what we want or expect. It's automatic reaction. You have mental habits that automatically trigger feelings of unhappiness. When people and situations around you don't fit your expectations, you get an emotional reaction, a demand from your feelings that makes you suffer. They had a baseball star in a commercial years ago. He is given a television and he says, "I wish it was a Sony." He's all blue. He was hoping it could be a Sony, Okay, that's the idea. The reaction. What is your reaction when people and situations around you do not fit your expectations? Oh, this hurts. An addictive demand is any emotion-backed thought that says something must be a certain way for you to feel happy. An addictive demand is any emotion-backed thought that says something must be a certain way in order for you to feel happy, secure, or satisfied. It's just when we're disappointed, we just stir up the subjective activity. It's a desire. We desire it to be a certain way. We want it to be a certain way. It's a desire conditioned into your mind and body, which is not satisfied. So it automatically triggers a separating emotion. Triggers fear or anger or jealousy or anxiety or frustration or irritation or resentment or sadness or disgust or hate. In your inner programming, your subjective life, you're not getting what you want or expected. an addictive demand. So today, explore your subjective life, what you've been through, and consider, when you didn't get what you wanted or expected, what reaction did you have inside? They don't love me. They don't care. Or that's awful. Or how dare they? You know. So I'd like you to think about this. When I don't get what I want, I feel, fill in the blanks. When I don't get what I want, I feel. When others don't do what I expected them to do this. When others don't do what I expect, what do I feel? Hurt, furious, unloved, and ready to hit the road. When others don't do what I expect, what do I feel? Thinking more broadly, and it's an important yoga issue, when life doesn't go as I think it should, what do I feel? What happens in my subjective life? When life itself, when my life, when your life doesn't go as you think it should, what do you feel? What happens inside? Ponder these a little while. Wouldn't it be wonderful to just spend a weekend thinking about these things? Excuse me. Thank you. This is a good place to stop, to take a break. Just enjoy these important questions and come up with your answers. Let's take a break.